So now that we've covered a lot of different ground, this is a good time to go back and do a quick check to make sure that everything in your speech is ethical and that nothing is going to get you in trouble. So what are some of the things that can get you in trouble? Well, first of all, plagiarism. And I think most people know that plagiarism is a no-no. However, first of all, you cannot cite from places that are plagiarizing sites. I've actually had this happen a number of times over the years. I think it's because people just Google and they don't always pay attention to what they're reading. But if it's a site that is a student's essay or somebody else's speech, you really shouldn't use it. Second, you can't also just patch write. This is where essentially everything in your speech belongs to somebody else. This is why I think it's so important for you to come up with the coordinate points and general idea of what you want your support to be before you go in. I have had speeches that are just nothing but long, huge chunks of quotations and statistics, and there's no real thought. The goal of a speech is to hear what you think. And so, but you're going to back that up with stuff from the experts. So you have to find a good balance. Another thing is being disrespectful. Now, in general, people know not to be mean to their audience, but a lot of times people are disrespectful to those who might disagree. That's why when you do your rebuttal, it should be a respectful disagreement. So, for example, you might say, while I understand, while I am obviously in favor of having people adopt, I understand that there is a certain appeal to, getting a pet from a breeder. And then talk about those people as if they're human. I've had quite a few people immediately just assume that anyone who would disagree is negative or bad. And that's not necessarily the case. Good people of good conscience can disagree on certain things. So you want to try to avoid being disrespectful both to your audience and to kind of the theoretical audience that isn't present. Obviously, I think to avoid name calling and fighting words. Those are ad hominem attacks. But I have heard people go, ugh, that's just stupid. Or I've heard some other things in speeches. When people get nervous, sometimes their tongues slip. And so just try to make sure that when you rehearse, all of your language shows a respect for yourself, your audience, and for the people around you. The last one that I want to cover that I don't think is super obvious, that's on the slide that this video accompanies, is the idea of being lazy with complex topics. Now, why would this be unethical? Well, first of all, you want to avoid giving misinformation. I had one person say something crazy like you could lose like 10 pounds in a week if you just did this one thing. And it honestly was kind of advice that felt a little dangerous. I had somebody else try to convince the audience that of a conspiracy theory, that there was like a certain danger to having your money in a bank and other things. Also, when you hear something like most people or nowadays or any evidence where you didn't really put the work in, you actually can offend your audience because this is their precious time. This is time that they're taking away from their lives to listen to you speak. And if you're unprepared or if you don't have your act together, people can feel like you can make them feel uncomfortable, or you can make them feel like, hey, why did I do all this work and this other person didn't? So try to avoid kind of thinking about these big, huge generalities like most people believe this or most people believe that. Just because you better have a source or you're going to end up in trouble. So back up what you say, don't take credit for other people, and be respectful, and you'll be good. All right, see you in the next video.